Hello, and welcome to today's Channeled Wisdom Circle. I am Guardian Goddess Iman, and honey, I have some messages for y'all today. But first, I have a question for you. How have you applied the wisdom given? Oh, wait. How have you all applied the wisdom given? Good morning, good morning. So, with that question, that is about the channeled wisdom circles that we've had so far. That is about the LG talks that we've been having. That is about the divinity sessions, all of it. How have you applied the wisdom given? And we're starting with that question because, y'all, when I connected to my stream and was like, what's the question? What's the message of the day? How strong that thing came through. I said, ooh, okay. So we might have to yell at them a little bit. What we're going to be talking about today is putting in the work. If you've been putting in the work, you good. This is going to help you refine and fine tune. If you have not been putting in the work, all of that's for you. So, with this message of putting in the work, it is also putting in the work to expand your capacity. So yesterday, part of the message was also about rebirth and that entire process, honoring yourself through that, honoring yourself all across the board, right? Yes, and I told you this, come through strong. There are a lot of y'all, whether you are consciously aware of it yet or not, that have been energetically shrinking from what you're supposed to be stepping into. Yeah, it's that message today. Okay. So in that, yesterday we talked about honoring your truth. And I'm realizing when I was channeling the main general things we were going to talk about today, that this message is really about connecting everything that you've already been given, which is why I started with that question. How have you applied the wisdom given? Because as the Divine Mother Monica Bay says, knowledge without action is pointless, right? The application is needed. And if you find yourself, because it's the message, put in the work, okay? If you find yourself shrinking away from what it is you're supposed to be leaning into for whatever reason you want to convince yourself that is, okay? See the message in the eyes? Whatever reason it is that you want to convince yourself of why you're shrinking away from that, realize that means you need to put in the work to expand. The next level, the next leg of your journey is going to require more of you than the past one did. Why? Because there's a new you. Think about it in terms of children. They got to learn how to walk before they got to crawl, learn how to roll around a little bit, get their motor function, figure out the controls on this machine, on this vessel, right? Before they can run. There's different skill sets that's required every level that you ascend to or reclaim your remembrance that you are already ascended, okay? Because like I said, this message is bringing it all together for us right now. Recognizing you need to expand your capacity. If there is something that you want that lights you up, like we were talking about yesterday, that's aligned with your soul, your path, your purpose, and it's right there before you, what is all this pulling away for? It's there on a platter. Now, you might have to hike up some steps or something to get to it. You might have to climb that mountain to get to it, but it's there. You have to put in the work to seize it, to claim it. In saying that, recognizing, yes, when you are on your spiritual path and journey, when you are taking care of yourself, your well-being, your vessel, all of these things, life is going to be much easier than it would be if you were not. Yes, and That doesn't mean that life is going to be 100% easy with no challenges, with no obstacles, with nothing for you to overcome or grow into. We came here for this. Remember that. We came here to grow. How do you grow? You have to do something to grow. Right? When it comes to soul growth, your spiritual growth, your vessel well-being, and your life purpose, you have to do something. It is not a passive task. I told y'all I was coming through strong today. So yeah. So with this, a part of the focus is around, again, the 3 pillars. I've been touching on it already, but that vessel, your mind, your body, and your energy system, all of that is included, because without that, you cannot exist here. You cannot experience this world, which means you don't have the opportunity for the soul growth here. You don't have the opportunity to live and express and embody your life purpose, right? So you need to put in the work to ensure, number one, that these 3 pillars may remain at the forefront of your mind, of your focus, of your intentions. It's easy to get skewed by everything else that's happening outside of you. Remember, the message of yesterday was tuning into your personal frequency, returning to that, making sure that that stays at the forefront so you can remain connected to the 3 pillars, so you can actively nurture them, right? And in putting in the work to keep them at the forefront, understand and apply your well-being as a non-negotiable. Your well-being is non-negotiable. It should be. If it has not been, it's time for you to look at yourself. I told you they coming through strong today. Somebody needs the message. I am here to deliver. Your well-being is non-negotiable. So that goes out to everybody, but highlighting right now the people who have the tendency for the martyrdom, for putting everyone else and everything else before themselves, for internalizing everyone else's emotions, all of those things. Your well-being is the non-negotiable. People always talk about non-negotiables in terms of romantic relationships and partnerships, but they less so think about it in terms of themselves, in terms of their well-being, in terms of your well-being. That should be non-negotiable. So what is it that you are allowing to get in the way of that, to interfere with that, to create static around your well-being, around your focus on your well-being? Because a part of putting in the work is maintaining that focus. Now, in saying that I want to also mention, right, the importance of balance. So I'm not saying become a workaholic on your spiritual journey. That's not what I'm telling you to do. That's not the message, okay? Balance is a part of this. Yes, and recognizing when there is work to be done and you being lazy, spiritually, energetically, etc., and so on. And when the work is in intentional rest. It can be active or it can be receptive, right? The yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine in terms of energies. But putting in the work, those 2 things together is what creates the wholeness, the shadows balancing the light. All of these things is about maintaining coherence, returning to coherence, and acknowledging the dance that is required to maintain balance. I'm gonna sip on that because that was a good one, y'all. Recognizing the dance that is required to maintain balance. Because again, we shouldn't always be in active energy. Sometimes you have to receive. Sometimes you have to be open to, and that's been a message a couple of times, hasn't it? With the LG talk that Dominic most recently gave of taking off the masks and being able to receive, being present and available to receive, and then previous channel wisdom circles, which brings us back to the question, how have you applied the wisdom given? Are you putting in the work? And with that, I'm going to ask this question, because I can sense that it's hitting some people a certain way. Does the thought of putting in the work bring you discomfort? Be honoring your truth, right? Be honest about that. If when I say put in the work, it's, oh my gosh, there's something else to do. I don't want to do nothing else. I've been doing this, that, and the third. I just want to, you're pulling away. You're pulling away. Now, in tuning into your personal frequency, the work that is required may be different than what you are currently conceptualizing, because that's coming from a past version of self that had different needs, different requirements, and a different lesson at that time. The work at this time, if that is how you're feeling when I say put in the work, may be to deal with that energy that comes up, because that's signaling unhealed trauma. That's signaling that you are succumbing to the illusion of overwhelm. I'm gonna let that one marinate. The illusion of overwhelm. Another message coming through in regards to burnout. A part of burnout happens when you have not stuck to that non-negotiable of your well-being being first. When you have, I don't like the phrasing that is coming through, but when you have gone astray from the 3 pillars and you're focused on these other things, that self-neglect, that martyrdom, that's when the burnout happens. Let's be real about it. So if you have that reaction of, oh my gosh, this is more to do when I say put in the work, the first thing you need to do is start nurturing yourself. Focus on the vessel. How are you taking care of your mind? Are you giving yourself time in your day, every day, not waiting until vacation? Because that's the conditioning. You can't rest until all of this is done and you're on vacation. No. That balance that I mentioned before, you need to design and allow it in your life. Designing that balance is including it in your schedule. When in your day are you giving yourself a moment of stillness, a moment of silence, a moment to simply be? I feel like some of y'all scratching your heads because it hasn't been in the schedules for a long time. That too is putting in the work. Putting in the work to maintain balance, to give yourself what you need, honoring your truth, right? Honoring your needs. If you know you have the propensity for overworking, for neglecting yourself, you are the main person that needs to schedule it in. It's not about judgment. It's about acknowledging what is, so you are able to effectively adjust and optimize. I'm going to say optimize your reality, right? Not have everything run you. I have loved this affirmation, this saying, this command that the Divine Mother gave us in the Pathways course before. You are the architect of your reality. So again, look, I love to be on time for you. Glad you're here to receive. And the replay gonna be there if you need to come back to it, okay? Making the time to tune within, to have annually, quarterly, monthly checks of where you need to either allow more balance or architect it in, to design that balance into your life, into your day, into whatever it is that you're doing. It's easy to go tunnel vision when you're working on a specific goal. That could be in career, that could be business, that could be even going tunnel vision on relationships, family, romantic, and otherwise, right? Again, if you know that is your habit, that is your pattern, whether that is your pattern in your day to day or that is how you respond to trauma, because the patterns may be triggered or activated by something different, but a pattern is a pattern. You need to build those checks and balances in for yourself. And in me saying this, I have a tendency of relating things to how we care for, nurture, or the growth of children because it's easier to conceptualize. It's easier to see, right? You have to have that diaper bag stocked when you go out with the child. You want to make sure this baby has everything that is needed for this child to be well. I have right here, packaged up. Okay. The diapers, stocked. The baby wipes, stocked. If they're with the milk, if they're with the juice, if they need a little snackies, stocked. You have everything there. So thinking about it in terms of your now present moment, because you need to take care of yourself in the same way, honestly, if we want to be real about it. You need to make sure that you have those breaks for yourself to eat. Because again, like I said, I'm not telling you to go spiritual workaholic. Nurturing your well-being, making sure that that is the non-negotiable. A part of that is honoring your needs, what it is that you need specifically. Maybe me personally, I need to have my bike. I got to go for bike rides. That helps to balance almost everything. So putting this particular example into context, if something happens to the bike, I move to a different place, don't have the bike no more, the bike stolen, whatever happens. The longer I wait to get what I need for my well-being, the longer I focus on something else to try and convince myself that I don't need it, is the longer the gunk builds up because I haven't been taking care of it, because I denied my non-negotiable. What's your non-negotiable for your well-being? We've talked about it in terms of the 3 pillars: your vessel, your mind, your body, your energy system. How are you doing the spiritual hygiene? Are you putting in that work? Life is gonna life, things are gonna happen, family's gonna family, friends is gonna friends, work is gonna work. All of that will happen. Are you taking care of you? Are you tuning back into that personal frequency to make sure that you are well? Going back to that first question, how have you applied the wisdom given? And also the question from yesterday, where do you need to honor yourself more? It might be in acknowledging that you have not been putting in the work to balance, to schedule in those breaks, that rest, that fun for yourself, because life is meant to be lived, not endured, right? We can work towards goals, yes, and we can also allow ourselves the time to be restored by nature, to be restored by the people that we love and care about, to be restored by solitude, by going within, by meditating, by connecting with your soul. Are you putting in the work? Yes, to self-accountability. That's what it is. And we'll touch on that for a minute. We're going to touch on that because it's the pattern, the habit has been in this reality that has been constructed for us. The pattern that has been conditioned is to give your power away to someone else, for someone else to do it, whether that is energetically, physically, what have you. At the end of the day, you are the sole person that has to live with all of your decisions and choices, your actions and your inactions. It comes down to you. That self-responsibility, that self-accountability. So if It's a situation where other people are not holding you accountable. Hold yourself accountable. That's part of putting in the work. When you were a child, it was someone else's task to do these things. Most likely, if you're here, you are not. You are adult, maybe late teens, starting your spiritual journey, whatever it is. It's your job to put in the work, to expand your capacity, to nurture your own growth and becoming. Yes, we can call in the people that will aid and assist us. We can go to the spaces where we're nurtured. Yes, and that work carries through day to day. Example, if you are in the Pathways to Divine Consciousness and Fulfillment course, which is the collaboration of Mystic Temple and Miss University, if you're in there every time we have a class, yet in between you are doing nothing to apply those lessons, that is not self-accountability. That's not putting in the work. It might be putting on a show, but it's not putting in the work. Your active participation in your journey and in your life is what creates change. That illusion of overwhelm, the illusion of powerlessness, because we didn't said it before, you are the divine, you are God. The power isn't gone. You're just putting up veils to try and avoid seeing that truth. Putting on masks to cover that, to hide that, to shrink away from it, when you should be leaning in, which I said earlier, right? Putting in the work to expand your capacity is required with rebirths, with just about any goal that you have. Because we most likely don't set the same goals that we set before. We're aiming higher, we're reaching higher, we're trying to grow. So you have to put in the work to be the version of yourself. It's still you. You got to remember that version, right? Put in the work to be and embody that version of yourself that can hold all of that exists in that particular reality that you're looking for. Because it's already there, but you may not be embodying the energies, that personal frequency that harmonizes and resonates with that reality that you want in regards to particular relationships with types of people, particular locations that you want to visit and explore, businesses, financial goals, all of that. Your embodiment may not align, and likely it does not align if it's not already in your physical reality. You haven't put in the work for it. They're coming through strong today. So I want to touch on an excerpt of one of the passages from the book of Rasheeda, and just bringing up how this particular one came to me. So I got the message that putting in the work was the main message and focus of today. And then I thought, I wonder what passage is related to this. All I did was search the word work on the website that has the entire book of Rasheeda that has been publicized at this point. There was only one passage with the word work in it. I said, okay, so that's the one we're talking about right now. This is from Divinity Session 11. I'm going to just give an excerpt, which is the opening of it. So important is your path that it must be seized. It all works together in this intricate maze of destruction, chaos, rebuilding, and rebirth. I'm going to run it back one more time. So important is your path that it must be seized. It all works together in this intricate maze of destruction, chaos, rebuilding, and rebirth. And when I saw that, I said, oh, we was talking about rebirth the other day. And this particular passage is the passage that follows the one I did my last LG talk on, which was about the crossroads. You know what that tells me? Some of y'all ain't putting in the work at your crossroads. You're not putting in the work at your crossroads. Are you being honest about that? It's not about self-judgment. Again, it's about being able to fine tune. It's about being aware of it so you can make the active decision of if you want this thing to continue or not. if you want to continue putting other people's well-being before yourselves and end up depleted and resentful because of what you've done. You gave that power away. Why are you mad at them? You did it to yourself. They coming through strong today, y'all. I've already said it. Put yourself first, put in the work, and recognize how important your path is, how important your journey is, not only to your spiritual growth, but also to this entire world, to all of the people that are waiting for you, to all of those soul contracts. Think about your own life, different people who have impacted you along the way. Now think about what if they didn't? What if they didn't show up to their path, their purpose, and their journey in those moments? Where would you be? So we're talking about this calm ferocity. Well, we're about to talk about the calm ferocity. I haven't said that yet. Talking about putting in the work, recognizing, and this is about not going into workaholic mode, because again, that workaholic mode releases that well-being non-negotiable. It says, oh, my well-being doesn't matter. I'm only going to focus on this. I'm only going to do this. No, that's not balance. You can work. You can have your rest. You can play. You can breathe. You can take a moment to simply and return to your personal frequency. So when it comes to putting in this work, recognize the energies that you can use to do so. And calm ferocity was one of the things that came through in regards to that, of what that energy is when you're putting in the work. It's the ferocity is because there's power behind it. There's focused energy behind it. But there's a calmness to it because you're God, right? Yeah, you don't have to struggle to do these things. But the more energy that you put behind it, the more momentum, the more ferocity, because I don't want to say force, that has a certain context. The more ferocity you can put behind it, the more powerful that manifestation is going to be. Whatever that manifestation is, even if that is just keeping your well-being as your non-negotiable. Getting up at a certain time of day that you know you need to, honoring your truth, honoring your needs, that you know you need to be able to have the time you need to keep your well-being as a non-negotiable. Or your cutoff time at the end of the day, when you're done with the phones, when you're done with the social media, and it's time for you to pour into you. Maybe it's this midday time when the channel wisdom circles are here, being able to pour back into you, to meditate, to simply be in the remembrance that you are divine, that you are already ascended, that you are simply walking this journey of becoming, of remembrance, of reaching your next level in this physical reality, in this human journey. Being able to apply that calm ferocity, calm, because it's not anxious, it's not desperate, it's a beingness. It's being in your power as you put in the work. Being in your power as you put in the work, keeping your well-being as a non-negotiable, and expanding your capacity, being willing, being present, putting the energy behind your growth, your journey, what is needed of you to show up in these different moments for yourself, for your life purpose, for your soul growth, and for all the people out here that are waiting for you to show up, to remember your power, to apply your power. We're getting close to the end, but we're going to bring it together. We've talked about keeping your well-being as a non-negotiable, the balance, that is required for that calm ferocity, and also understanding that when you put in the work for your well-being, and that allowing that, the image that I'm literally seeing right now is like a freaking like a meteorite. I'm going to say it's the sun moving, and all of the planets are orbiting and they're all going in the same direction. There is a coherence, there is a focused energy. That energy coherence is laser focused. There's nothing getting in the way of that. Your well-being is at the core. Those three pillars are at the core. Then everything else it is that you want to manifest and do in your life is orbiting that and moving forward with momentum, unstoppable force, that unstoppable ferocity. But you have to put in the work for your well-being, for everything else to be able to remain in orbit. Otherwise, you fall into the illusion of overwhelm. The self-sabotage and all those things start to come up. That's a message right there. If you find yourself pulling back from the work it is that you need to do for your well-being, your vessel, your purpose, your soul growth, the work that you need to do may be on your worthiness and your self-trust. Because you wouldn't self-sabotage if you trusted yourself. If you trusted yourself to expand and grow into this new version and honor the fact that you can hold that, expanding the capacity, you're expanding your capacity to hold what it is, who it is that you are meant to, what it is that you are meant to do, and the impact that you are meant to have here. It may be building that self-trust, and we talked about the rebirth before. Every rebirth, you might have to build a new level of self-trust. The level of self-trust that this version of you needs and requires. Putting in the work for that as well. Because we've already said, you're already divine, you're already God, you're already ascendant, but you have to remember that. And in that remembrance, you have to trust what you know, despite what the world tells you. Because they say you're powerless. They say you're weak. They say all these other energies and entities can control you and you need to bow down to this, that, and the third. You have to be able to trust that inner knowing, put in the work for that. That's another part of that well-being non-negotiable, is trusting your power, not getting in that habit and that thought that I have to find it. It's somewhere out there. Honey, no. Return to your personal frequency, put in the work to stay there, and put in the work to activate and hold on to that remembrance, that self-trust, that knowingness that you're divine. It's already yours. What it is that you want truly from your soul, not the illusions, not the ego, not from the traumas, it's already yours. You're here for that. All you have to do is seize it. Put in the work. Balance your energy, your well-being, cleanse your energy so all the foo-la-la, the gunk, the junk, the riff-raff does not affect you. Put in the work to seize your destiny, to claim the throne. Come on. That was in the Pathways course. Crossing the threshold of the throne. Put in the work for that. To reach your next level. To embody more of yourself. To stand in your God form in the next level and the next level and so on. So with me saying that, running back to the question, how have you applied the wisdom given? It's time to apply the wisdom given. Reevaluate what you have applied, what worked, what didn't, where do you need to tweak? Make those improvements and keep going down your journey. Keep going on your path. Continue to rise. Build that self-trust within yourself because you are more than capable. But honey, you got to remember that. and make that a non-negotiable. So with that, yes, check yourself consistently. Check yourself, check your energy. Trust yourself, trust your power, and apply the wisdom given, honey. Apply it every day, one way or another. Apply the wisdom given. That is the message of the day, the channeled wisdom circle of the day. Y'all, told you they were coming in strong. Apply, apply, apply. Zora Kumti, be well and thrive, y'all. Perpetually put in the work, put in the work, put in the work, put in